even from the beginning of the hike, it's one of those places that it's not like any place else in Washington, and it's actually hard to believe that you're even in Washington when you start looking at the scenery and how the land is laid out. It's pretty amazing. And we're only about 100 yards in. We'll show you more as we get there. A good example of being aware of where you're going is as you walk down the trail, don't forget to look down. Not only will you see a lot of coyote poop, every once in a while there's an arrow on the ground, and you go, well, I wonder what that's pointing to. And if you follow it, you come up to the cans. And you can see they're way back in there. And then all down through there in the sagebrush. So what happened is, this is where the kitchen used to be set up for the camp. And as Cookie got done making the meals, he would just pitch the cans out the back door of the chuck wagon. And that's where they ended up. You never know. Always got to be looking. You have to be really careful where you decide to go off trail because of rattlesnakes and things like that. But if you poke around, you'll find all kinds of different things. In fact, there's the stove that all of these cans belong to. As you come up the trail, you get closer and closer to the cliffs, and you start noticing the little caves and the places they must have gone and checked out as they came through. Really cool. So we're headed to the top, that big pinnacle right up there. We'll see how it goes. When we get to the top, it should be a fantastic view. No, we're not going that way. This hike has just about everything on it, from walking through the woods where we were a little bit ago to opening up and coming over the top of a ridge and looking at things, to dropping down and finding the meadow at the bottom of the valley, hidden by all the sagebrush with the grasses. I know there's got to be a lot of wildlife out there. They're just not here right now. But again, another cool hike. There's crickets out here. And as we're going down, you can hear the crickets and the grasshoppers jumping.
Look at him go.
These bushes are just full of them. I don't know what kind of plant this is.
Oh my God.
Doink. So one of the things I was just thinking about is not so important with out and back hikes like we're doing, but especially with round or loop hikes, don't forget to stop and look back behind you once in a while. It's a totally different view than what you get as you're walking out the trail. And again, this is an out and back 6.1 miles. So we'll come back through here, but just the different view that you get by turning around, looking back down the trail where you came from. Pretty cool stuff. Some type of old structures down there almost look like chicken coops, or maybe some type of barns for whatever animals they grazed in this little flat bottom here. The scenery and the trail change so much as you go. We are probably a mile in, just under that. 1.3 miles. And we're doing a little bit of rock scrabbling, but nothing crazy. But it's just the different colors and where you're going through. This is why we hike. This is why we like to get out and see things, because it's incredible. So just shy of a mile and a half in, you come to this big meadow. And I don't know what type of plant this is. It almost looks like dogwood fluffs that you see floating all over the place, but it's pretty thick through here. And then up the cliff. Hope none of that comes down while we're here. It'd be cool to see from a distance. So there's the first scare of the trip. See him go sliding up into there? It's not a rattlesnake, but I don't know what kind it is. He's got no rattles on the end of his tail. We'll have to do a little research and see if we can find out. And a wasp. So we're gonna keep on moving. Just a little more carefully. I knew there was a snake on the trail when I heard Deb start saying things. We're 1.6 miles in now, and our heart rates have dropped back down from the snake scare. But as you come through all these grasses, oh, look at this grasshopper. Jump. The grasshoppers are thick through here. But anyway, as you come through 1.6 miles, then you see the house as it opens up at the, I guess this would be the north end of the meadow. So we'll go check it out and see what's there. I was under the impression that there was a building here that was the house. I was mistaken. There's one back through there, real dark wood through the trees. And then there's the main house with the clothesline and the little fence around it. Up behind it is another darker structure. As you come through, you see the fence, the picnic table, and then there's two more buildings. A little tin-sided building, a tin-roofed one here, and then the darker one up there. We're at the back of the main house, and it is open from up here. You can kind of go look around. I'm not gonna go in. Well, I'm not gonna go in too far. There's some rat droppings on the floor, the downstairs, but then the kitchen. I've been in some buildings that we did training burns in that were in about this kind of shape, so it's actually not all that bad. The fence up here, they had a little patio, and then, I mean, if you think about it, how bad would it be to get up in the morning, get your coffee percolator going, have a nice hot cup of coffee, and look out over this. And if it was late, you had your old lantern. Remember the old lanterns with the white gas fuel? It's still sitting here. Trail goes up and around behind the back of that building. So we're about halfway in to the hike to the lake. We'll keep pushing on and see what else we find. So this is where you have to be really, really careful. I can see the rattles on his tail. No, he's just taking his time. We're gonna go nice and easy, let him slither his way on out of there. But he was just sitting in the middle of the path, all coiled up. Come on. Go ahead. I don't like spiders and snakes. He's not too concerned.
No. Okay, we can move on because he's turning around.
All right, little guy. It's all yours. Snake update for the trail. 2 so far. Hopefully we don't see 3, but I'm thinking I may have worn the wrong hat for the hike today. The only real climb that we've come to on the trail, and it's not too bad, Well, depending on how far it goes up. We are just over 2 miles in. Snake count 2. But there's lots of places where you look and you go, ooh, that'd be a good place for a snake. I'm not crazy about them. I got bit by a rattlesnake in 2015 in Chelan on a wildfire. I got really lucky because it didn't break the skin, but I don't like them. Snake count 3, but that's a garter snake. He's okay. I will have to say there might be a little poo on the trail because I walked right over it and then I heard Deb scream behind me. Okay, if you want to get your adrenaline and your heart rate up, it's not a strenuous hike, but I'll tell you what, it'll get you going. Oh my God.
Sorry.
So we're 2.5 miles in. We're kind of on the side of a little ridge and then down in the valley. Again, a little meadow. It's pretty moist looking down there. And then as you go up the cliffs, all the lichen and the green growth on the side of those cliffs. Pretty cool. Again, it'll never show up as good on camera as it does to your eye here. From the 2.5 mile point, you come around a little corner, and I was just showing you the meadow down there. The reason I'm breathing heavy is because you come to this hill, it's probably 30 degrees or more. I'd say closer to 40, 45 almost. A little bit of slipping and sliding as you go up. We still have a ways to go to the top of the ridge. I don't know where it goes from there, but we're only a half mile from the lake. So how bad can it be? Famous last words. We made it to the top of the hill. It's amazing how close we are to the top of the ridge across. When we started the hike, we were looking way up at it. So it's only, I think, an 800-foot elevation gain on this hike. But the 800 feet goes from milepost 2.5 to about 2.6. So it's steep. The one that we were just on, we looked at, it was 50% grade. We came around a little curve at a switchback and then it got steeper. So at max, it's about 65 to 70% grade, but it doesn't last for very long. It comes up and then you're pretty much at the top. We have another 4 or 5 tenths to get to the lake, where we'll stop, have a drink of water, and then turn around and avoid snakes on the way back down. So we made it up to the lake. Man, it's beautiful up here. Ducks swimming everywhere. The color of the lake is pretty cool. And the scenery is unbelievable. If you're at Steamboat and you want a good little hike, see some snakes, see some good stuff, come on up. It's been worth it. We'll show you some more stuff on the way back down, but don't miss this hike. Cool cliff.
Look at this guy. How big he is. He's the daddy of all grasshoppers. Bazooka. Oh, he's gonna take photos.
Snake count number 4. So somebody tell me what kind of snake it is. No rattle. Snake count number 5. Northrup Canyon, just a little bit north of Steamboat Rock State Park. Great hike, 6 miles, 5 snakes, no other people. This is supposed to be a moderately trafficked, heavy traffic type of hike. And there was one truck when we got here this morning. We saw her on a different trail as she was coming back in. And there's Doug. We're the only people up here. Great hike. So essentials for this hike: lots of water. It's normally really hot. It's heating up good today. Good sturdy hiking boots, and probably the most important thing, trek poles. Not just for walking up the hills and down the hills, but for poking for snakes and moving them out of the way for you. So good hike. We'll see you at the next one.